"Pack your things and leave this building now," Mr. Dyke shouted. Everyone on the office floor stopped working. Phones went quiet. Fingers stopped moving on keyboards. Even the air seemed to stop. Amara stood beside the old cleaning woman. Her hands were shaking, but she did not move away. Mr. Dyke pointed at the door. "You are fired, Amara. You chose a cleaner over this company." The old woman looked down at her worn shoes. Her gray cleaning uniform was old. One sleeve had a small tear. Her cleaning bucket was beside her feet. Nobody knew that the woman they were laughing at could fire every person in the building with one phone call. Nobody knew that she owned the company, and nobody knew that what happened next would change Amara's life forever. But to understand why Amara was standing there, jobless and afraid, we have to go back to that morning. And please tell me in the comments, where are you listening from today? I would love to know. It began with a broken cup. Amara arrived at work before 8 that morning. The tall glass building stood in the middle of Lagos like a shining palace. It belonged to Crown Meridian Group. The company owned banks, hotels, factories, farms, ships, and many other businesses across Africa and beyond. Thousands of people worked for the company. Amara was only one of them. She was 27 years old and worked in the customer support office on the 12th floor. Her job was not big. Her pay was not big either. But it mattered to her. Her mother lived in a small town outside Lagos, and Amara sent money home every month. Her younger brother was still in school. Losing her job would hurt all of them. That was why Amara always came early. That morning, when she stepped out of the lift, she heard something break. A cup had fallen near the front desk. An old cleaner bent down to pick up the pieces. Then Mr. Dyke walked around the corner, and his face changed. Mr. Dyke was the floor manager. He wore clean suits, shiny shoes, and expensive watches. He liked people to fear him. If he saw someone whispering, he shouted. If someone came 2 minutes late, he wrote their name down. If a worker made a mistake, he spoke as if they had destroyed the whole company. People smiled when he walked past, but they only smiled because they were afraid. That morning, Mr. Dyke stared at the broken cup. Then he stared at the cleaner. "What is this?" he asked. The old woman looked up. "I am sorry, sir. My hand slipped." Mr. Dyke laughed without smiling. "Your hand slipped? Yes, sir. You people always have an excuse." Amara slowed down. The old woman quickly picked up the broken pieces. "I will clean everything. You should have cleaned it before I came." The old woman said nothing. Then Mr. Dyke kicked the cleaning cloth away from her hand. It slid across the floor. Amara stopped walking. Everyone nearby looked away, but Amara could not. What would Mr. Dyke do next? The old cleaner slowly reached for the cloth. Mr. Dyke stepped on it with his shoe. "Leave it." The old woman froze. Amara felt heat rise inside her chest. She knew she should keep walking. She knew this was not her problem. She knew what happened to workers who challenged Mr. Dyke. Still, she stayed. Mr. Dyke looked down at the cleaner. "What is your name?" "Mrs. Evelyn, sir." "Evelyn what?" "Evelyn Adebayo." Mr. Dyke frowned. "How old are you?" The old woman gave a small smile. "Old enough to know I made a mistake, sir." A few workers almost smiled. Mr. Dyke did not. "You think this is funny?" "No, sir. You cleaners are becoming too comfortable." Amara saw Mrs. Evelyn's hands. They were shaking a little. Not from fear. They looked tired. Mr. Dyke bent closer. "Maybe you are too old for this job." Mrs. Evelyn slowly raised her eyes. "I can still work. We will see about that." He lifted his foot from the cloth and walked away. Everyone started moving again. Amara went to help Mrs. Evelyn pick up the glass. The old woman looked surprised. "You do not have to do that, my child. I know. Your manager may see you." Amara smiled. "Then we should clean quickly." Mrs. Evelyn smiled too, but there was something strange in her eyes. It was almost as if she was studying Amara. Why? Amara finished helping and went to her desk. Her friend BC rolled her chair closer. "Are you trying to lose your job?" BC whispered. Amara opened her computer. "I only helped her clean glass. You know that is not what I mean." Amara sighed. BC looked toward Mr. Dyke's office. "That man keeps a list." "A list of what?" "People who annoy him." Amara laughed quietly. "I am serious. I know. Then stay away from that cleaner today." Amara looked across the room. Mrs. Evelyn was wiping a table. She moved slowly but carefully. Nobody paid attention to her. That was strange, because Amara had never seen her before. "Is she new?" Amara asked. BC looked over. "I think so. What happened to Mama Grace? Maybe she is on leave." Amara nodded. Still, something felt unusual. Mrs. Evelyn did not move like the other cleaners. She watched everything. The doors, the desks, the workers, even Mr. Dyke. Once, Amara caught the old woman looking at a large photo on the wall. It showed the founder of Crown Meridian Group many years ago. The photo was old and dark. The founder stood with several business leaders. Amara noticed Mrs. Evelyn staring at it for a long time. Then she quickly looked away. What was she thinking? By 10 o'clock, the office was busy. Customers were calling. Emails were coming. Managers were moving from desk to desk. Amara had almost forgotten what happened that morning. Then Mrs. Evelyn came near her desk. "Excuse me, my child." Amara turned. "Yes, ma. Do you know where the small meeting room is?" Amara pointed. "Down that hall. Second door." "Thank you." Mrs. Evelyn took 2 steps, then stopped. "Do you like working here?" Amara blinked. It was a strange question. "Yes." "Why?" Amara thought for a moment. "It helps my family." Mrs. Evelyn nodded. "That is not what I asked." Amara smiled. "You mean, do I like the company?" "Yes." Amara looked around. "It is a good company. And the people?" Amara glanced toward Mr. Dyke's office. "Some are good." Mrs. Evelyn noticed where she looked. "What about the ones who are not?" Amara lowered her voice. "We all have difficult days." Mrs. Evelyn smiled. "That is a careful answer." Before Amara could reply, Mr. Dyke walked out of his office. He saw them talking. His face became hard. What had he heard? Mr. Dyke walked straight toward them. "Amara." "Yes, sir." "Do you have work?" "Yes, sir." "Then why are you talking?" Mrs. Evelyn stepped back. "She was only giving me directions." Mr. Dyke turned to her. "Did I ask you?" "No, sir." "Then do not speak." Amara felt angry again. She looked down at her keyboard. Mr. Dyke pointed toward the hallway. "Go and clean the meeting room." Mrs. Evelyn nodded. "Yes, sir." "And Amara?" "Yes, sir." "My office, now." BC stared at Amara with wide eyes. Amara stood. Her stomach tightened. She followed Mr. Dyke into his office. He shut the door behind her. For a moment, he said nothing. He sat in his large chair and looked at her. "You think you are special?" Amara frowned. "No, sir. You helped that cleaner this morning." "Yes. You were talking to her just now. She asked for directions." Mr. Dyke leaned back. "Do you know what your problem is?" Amara stayed quiet. "You do not understand levels." "Levels? There are levels in life." He pointed at himself. "Managers, then at her. Staff, then toward the door. Cleaners." Amara stared at him. Mr. Dyke smiled. When people forget their level, there is confusion. Amara wanted to speak. She stopped herself. Mr. Dyke leaned forward. Do your work. Stop trying to save people who are below you. Something inside Amara hurt when he said that. My mother cleans houses sometimes, she said quietly. Mr. Dyke's smile disappeared. I did not ask about your mother. I know, sir. Then why are you telling me? Because I do not think anyone is below me. The room became silent. Mr. Dyke's eyes changed. Had Amara gone too far? He slowly stood. You may leave. Amara nodded. Thank you, sir. When she reached the door, he spoke again. Amara. She turned. Yes? Do not make me repeat myself. Amara walked out. But from the hallway, someone had heard everything. Mrs. Evelyn. At lunch, most workers went downstairs to the company cafe. Amara stayed at her desk. She had brought rice from home. She opened the small food box and began eating. Then she noticed Mrs. Evelyn sitting alone near the service stairs. The old woman had only a small bottle of water, no food. Amara watched her for a moment. Then she picked up her food and walked over. You are not eating. Mrs. Evelyn looked up. I am fine. That means no. The woman laughed. You are stubborn. My mother says the same thing. Amara sat beside her. She pushed the food box between them. Eat. No. There is enough. There is hardly enough for you. Amara smiled. Then we will both be a little hungry. Mrs. Evelyn looked at her for a long moment. Then she took one spoonful. Thank you. They ate quietly. After some time, Mrs. Evelyn asked, What does your mother do? She sells vegetables. She also cleans houses when money is low. And your father? He died when I was 16. I am sorry. Thank you. Mrs. Evelyn nodded slowly. Did your mother raise you alone? Yes, she raised you well. Amara smiled. But then she heard footsteps. Mr. Dyke was coming, and he had seen them. He stopped in front of Amara and Mrs. Evelyn. His face looked shocked, then angry. Are you eating with the cleaner? Amara slowly stood. Yes, sir. In the office? Near the stairs. That is not what I asked. Mrs. Evelyn closed the food box. I can leave. Mr. Dyke pointed at her. Yes. Leave. Amara took the box from Mrs. Evelyn. Sir, we were only eating. Mr. Dyke looked around. Several workers were watching now. His pride was hurt. You seem to enjoy challenging me today. I am not challenging you. Then follow my orders. What order did I break? The words left Amara's mouth before she could stop them. BC covered her face at her desk. Mr. Dyke stepped closer. You want to know? Amara swallowed. Yes, sir. I told you to stay away from her. Mrs. Evelyn looked between them. Amara said, With respect, sir, I do not think you can tell me who I can eat with. Everyone became very still. Mr. Dyke smiled slowly. It was not a kind smile. All right. He looked at Mrs. Evelyn. Go back to work. Then he looked at Amara. We will speak later. He walked away. BC rushed over. Are you mad? Maybe. He is going to punish you. Amara looked toward Mrs. Evelyn. The old woman was watching Mr. Dyke. Her face was no longer soft. It was calm. Too calm. What did she know? That afternoon, something went wrong in the meeting room. A group of important visitors was coming from London. Mr. Dyke wanted everything perfect. The table had to shine. The chairs had to be straight. The water bottles had to face the same direction. Mrs. Evelyn was told to prepare the room. At 2:00, Mr. Dyke went inside to check. Seconds later, he shouted, Evelyn. Everyone heard him. Mrs. Evelyn hurried inside. Amara could see the open door from her desk. Mr. Dyke held up a white cloth. There was a dark mark on it. What is this? Mrs. Evelyn looked confused. I do not know, sir. You cleaned this table? Yes. And it is still dirty. I can clean it again. You had one job. I am sorry. Sorry? The visitors will be here soon. Mr. Dyke threw the cloth onto the table. You people never care. Mrs. Evelyn took a cloth from her pocket. I will fix it. But Mr. Dyke blocked her path. No. She stopped. No. I said no. He turned toward the office. Everyone, look here. Workers slowly looked up. Amara's heart sank. Why was he calling everyone? Mr. Dyke pulled Mrs. Evelyn out of the meeting room. This is what happens when people are hired because someone feels sorry for them. Mrs. Evelyn's face fell. Amara stood from her chair. Bisi grabbed her wrist. Do not. Amara looked at her friend. Bisi whispered. Please. Mr. Dyke continued. This company has standards. He pointed at Mrs. Evelyn. And some people do not belong here. Amara pulled her hand away from Bisi. She walked forward. Sir. Mr. Dyke turned. What? You do not have to speak to her like that. The whole office went silent again. Mr. Dyke stared at Amara. What did you say? Amara's heart was beating hard, but she did not move. I said she made a mistake. She can clean it again. Mr. Dyke laughed. Go back to your desk. Please let her fix it. I said go back to your desk. Mrs. Evelyn touched Amara's arm. It is all right. But Amara looked at the old woman's eyes. They were wet. That was enough. No, Amara said. Mr. Dyke's face changed. What? It is not all right, Bisi whispered. Amara faced Mr. Dyke. You can correct someone without making them feel small. Mr. Dyke walked closer. And you can keep your job by keeping your mouth closed. The threat was clear. What would Amara choose? Amara looked around. Nobody would meet her eyes. These were people she worked with every day. Some had eaten with her. Some had laughed with her. Some had asked her for help. But now they were afraid. Amara understood them. She was afraid too. She thought about her mother, her brother's school fees, the rent, the food at home. Then she looked at Mrs. Evelyn. The old woman stood alone with a cleaning cloth in her hand. Amara remembered her mother coming home tired after cleaning houses. She remembered how her mother's hands sometimes hurt. She remembered hearing her mother say, "Some people think poor means useless." Amara took a deep breath. "Sir, I respect your position." Mr. Dyke smiled. "Good. But I will not stand here while you shame her." The smile disappeared. Mr. Dyke pointed at Amara's desk. "Sit down." "No, sir," a worker gasped. Mr. Dyke looked around. Everyone was watching. He could not let this go, not in front of them. He turned to Mrs. Evelyn. "You." "Yes, sir? Give me your ID card." Mrs. Evelyn slowly touched the card, hanging around her neck. "Why?" "Because you are finished here." Amara stepped between them. "No." Mr. Dyke blinked. "What did you say?" "You cannot fire her because I spoke. I can fire anyone on this floor." Mrs. Evelyn lifted her head. For the first time, something changed in her face. It was small, but Amara saw it. Almost like surprise, Mr. Dyke held out his hand. "Your card. Now." Mrs. Evelyn reached for it. Amara stopped her. "Please do not." Then Mr. Dyke said the words that changed everything. "If you protect her, you can leave with her." The office went quiet enough to hear the air conditioner. Amara stared at him. "Are you firing me?" Mr. Dyke crossed his arms. "I am giving you a choice." He pointed at Mrs. Evelyn. "Her," then at Amara's desk. "Or your job." Amara felt cold. Was he serious? She looked at Bisi. Bisi's eyes were full of fear. She slowly shook her head. "Do not do it." Amara looked at Mrs. Evelyn. The old woman whispered, "Choose your job." Amara stared at her. Mrs. Evelyn gave a sad smile. You have a family. How do you know? You told me. Amara looked down. Mrs. Evelyn touched her hand. I will be fine. Mr. Dyke laughed. See? Even the cleaner has more sense. Something inside Amara became calm, very calm. She removed her company badge. She placed it on Mr. Dyke's desk. Then I choose her. Nobody moved. Mr. Dyke stared at the badge. Maybe he had expected Amara to beg. She did not. He picked up the badge. Fine. Amara felt tears in her eyes. She refused to let them fall. Mr. Dyke pointed toward the door. Pack your things and leave this building now. Everyone on the office floor stopped working. Mrs. Evelyn looked down. Mr. Dyke pointed again. You are fired, Amara. You chose a cleaner over this company. Amara went to her desk. She took her small handbag, a photo of her family, a notebook, a blue cup her brother had given her. That was all. Bisi followed her. I am sorry, Bisi whispered. Amara hugged her. Do not be. You should report him. To who? Bisi had no answer. Mr. Dyke stood near his office. He looked pleased. Mrs. Evelyn picked up her cleaning bucket. She walked beside Amara toward the lift. Mr. Dyke called after them. And Evelyn? The old woman turned. Yes? You are fired too. Mrs. Evelyn stared at him. Then she gave a tiny smile. All right. Mr. Dyke frowned. Maybe he expected fear. She showed none. The lift doors opened. Amara and Mrs. Evelyn stepped inside. Just before the doors closed, Mrs. Evelyn looked at Mr. Dyke. Are you sure about your decision? Mr. Dyke laughed. Very sure. The doors closed. Mrs. Evelyn looked ahead. Then she whispered, Good. Amara turned. What did she mean? Inside the lift, Amara finally started crying. She wiped her face quickly. I am sorry. Mrs. Evelyn looked at her. For what? For crying. Why should you be sorry? I should be stronger. Mrs. Evelyn shook her head. Strong people cry too. Amara looked down. I do not know how I will tell my mother. Tell her the truth. That I lost my job because I could not stay quiet. Yes. My mother will ask how we will pay my brother's fees. Mrs. Evelyn was silent. Amara gave a weak laugh. I hope doing the right thing can pay school fees. The lift reached the ground floor. The doors opened. Mrs. Evelyn did not move. Amara looked at her. Are you coming? In a moment. Amara frowned. Are you okay? Yes. Mrs. Evelyn reached into the pocket of her cleaning uniform. She took out a small black phone. It looked simple. She called someone. Samuel. Her voice changed. It was still calm. But stronger. Yes, I am ready. She listened. No. Do not tell them yet. Another pause. Bring the board members to the 12th floor. Amara stared at her. Board members? Mrs. Evelyn ended the call. Amara blinked. Who are you? The old woman smiled. Someone who needs to finish her work. What work? Before Amara could ask another question, two men in dark suits walked toward them. Behind them came a woman carrying a tablet. All three stopped in front of Mrs. Evelyn. Good afternoon, Madam Chairwoman, one man said. Amara's mouth fell open. Mrs. Evelyn nodded. Good afternoon, Chairwoman? Amara looked from the men to the old woman. She thought she had heard wrong. The woman with the tablet spoke. The board is waiting upstairs. Good. Mrs. Evelyn turned to Amara. Come with me. Amara did not move. Why? Because I would like you to see something. The old woman stepped back into the lift. Amara stared at her worn cleaning uniform, then at the suited people waiting beside her. Nothing made sense. Please, Mrs. Evelyn said. Amara slowly stepped inside. The doors closed again, and this time the lift went back up. On the 12th floor, Mr. Dyke was already celebrating. He stood near his office with a cup of coffee. "Let this be a lesson," he told the workers. "This is a business, not a charity home." Nobody answered. Mr. Dyke continued, "If you cannot follow leadership, you do not belong here." Bissy stared at her computer. She felt sick. She wished she had stood beside Amara. But she had been afraid. Then the lift bell sounded. Everyone looked up. The doors opened. 2 men in dark suits stepped out first. Then a senior company director. Then another. Then 3 board members. Mr. Dyke almost dropped his coffee. He quickly fixed his tie. "Good afternoon, sirs." "Good afternoon, ma." More people came out. Senior leaders from the company headquarters. People Mr. Dyke had only seen in meetings and company photos. His face changed from pride to fear. "What is happening?" Bissy whispered. Then Amara stepped out of the lift. The office became silent. Mr. Dyke stared at her. "You." But Amara did not answer. She was still confused. Then Mrs. Evelyn stepped out behind her, still wearing the grey cleaning uniform. Mr. Dyke's fear turned into anger. "What are you doing back here?" One of the directors looked at him. "You should be very careful with your next words." Mr. Dyke blinked. "Sir?" The director stepped aside. Mrs. Evelyn walked forward, and everyone watched. Mr. Dyke laughed nervously. "I do not understand." Mrs. Evelyn looked at him. "I think you are about to." She walked toward the large company photo on the wall. The same photo she had stared at that morning. She pointed at it. "Do you know this picture?" Mr. Dyke nodded quickly. "Yes, the founders." "Who is that woman?" He looked closer. There was a younger woman standing at the edge of the photo. She was one of the early investors, I think. Mrs. Evelyn smiled. "You think?" Mr. Dyke swallowed. One board member spoke. "That woman owns 58% of Crown Meridian Group." Mr. Dyke's eyes widened. Mrs. Evelyn removed the scarf covering part of her grey hair. Then she stood beside the old photo. The face was older now, but it was the same face. Bissy gasped. Mr. Dyke dropped his cup. Coffee spilled across the floor. Nobody moved to clean it. Mrs. Evelyn looked at him. "My name is Dr. Evelyn Adebayo." Mr. Dyke went pale. What would she say next? Mrs. Evelyn stood in the middle of the office. No one dared speak. "I started my first small company 41 years ago," she said. Her voice was calm. "We had 1 room, 2 desks, and 1 old fan." She looked at the workers. "I cleaned that office myself." Some workers lowered their heads. "I served tea. I answered phones. I swept the floor when everyone went home." She looked at Mr. Dyke. "So you see, Mr. Dyke, I do not believe cleaning makes a person small." He opened his mouth. "Madam, I—" She raised 1 finger. He stopped. Mrs. Evelyn continued. "Crown Meridian now works in many countries." She looked around. "That is good." Then she pointed at her heart. "But money can make a company big without making it good." The room stayed silent. "That is why, every few years, I visit our offices without warning." Amara stared at her. Mrs. Evelyn looked at her and smiled. "Sometimes I come as a customer." Then she looked at her cleaning clothes. "Sometimes I come like this." Bissy whispered, "Oh my God." Mrs. Evelyn heard her. "Yes." She turned back to everyone. "I wanted to know how people behave when they think nobody important is watching." Then she looked directly at Mr. Dyke. "And now I know." Mr. Dyke began to shake. "Madam, please. There has been a misunderstanding." Mrs. Evelyn tilted her head. "What did I misunderstand?" "I did not know who you were." Mrs. Evelyn's face became sad. "That is the problem." Mr. Dyke blinked. She stepped closer. You think you should treat me well because I own this company. No, madam. That is not what I mean. But you did not think you should treat me well when you believed I cleaned your floor. Mr. Dyke said nothing. Mrs. Evelyn pointed toward Amara. She did. Amara felt every eye turn toward her. Mrs. Evelyn smiled. She did not know my name. She paused. She did not know my money. Another pause. She did not know my position. Mrs. Evelyn looked at Amara. She only knew I was being hurt. Amara's eyes filled with tears again. Mrs. Evelyn turned back to Mr. Dyke, and she stood beside me. Mr. Dyke tried to speak. I was only trying to keep discipline. Mrs. Evelyn nodded slowly. Discipline? Yes, madam. You kicked my cleaning cloth. Mr. Dyke's face fell. You called cleaners people who do not belong. He looked down. You told Amara that some people were below her. The workers began glancing at one another. How did Mrs. Evelyn know that? Then Amara remembered. She had been outside the office, listening. Mrs. Evelyn continued. You used fear to lead. No, madam. You fired a good worker because she asked you to show respect. Mr. Dyke wiped sweat from his forehead. I can explain. I have heard enough explanations today. Mrs. Evelyn turned to one of the board members. Samuel. Yes, madam. Please read the reports. Samuel opened a tablet. Over the last 6 months, this office has received 14 staff complaints about Mr. Dyke. Mr. Dyke looked shocked. 14, Samuel continued. 8 workers said they were afraid to use their names. The office became very quiet. BC looked up. She had made one of those reports. So had others. Samuel kept reading. 3 workers resigned. Mr. Dyke shook his head. They were weak employees. Mrs. Evelyn looked at him. Or perhaps they were tired of being treated badly. Mr. Dyke said nothing. Samuel continued. 2 cleaning workers asked to be moved to another floor because of his behavior. Mrs. Evelyn looked around. Why was nothing done? A senior director stepped forward. We failed to act fast enough. Mrs. Evelyn nodded. We will discuss that too. The director lowered his head. For the first time, Mr. Dyke seemed to understand. This was bigger than one bad morning. Everything he had done was coming back. But what would happen to him? Mr. Dyke stepped closer to Mrs. Evelyn. Madam, please. She watched him. I have worked here for 11 years. I know. I gave my life to this company. Mrs. Evelyn nodded. Then you should have known what this company stands for. I made a mistake. One mistake. Mr. Dyke looked around. Nobody helped him. He seemed smaller now. You cannot judge 11 years from one day. Mrs. Evelyn's face softened. You are right. Hope appeared in his eyes. Then she continued. That is why we checked 11 years. His hope disappeared. Samuel held up the tablet. We have your records. Mr. Dyke slowly sat down in a chair. Mrs. Evelyn spoke quietly. You were warned 3 times. He did not answer. You were sent to leadership training twice. Still nothing. You promised to change. Mr. Dyke looked at the floor. Mrs. Evelyn sighed. A title does not make you a leader. She looked around the office. A leader should make people feel safe enough to do good work. Then she looked at Mr. Dyke. You made them afraid. His lips shook. Am I fired? Mrs. Evelyn paused. Every worker waited. I will not fire you because you insulted me. Mr. Dyke looked up. I am ending your job because you used your power to hurt people again and again. His shoulders fell. Samuel stepped forward. Human resources will speak with you downstairs. Mr. Dyke stared at Amara. For 1 second, anger flashed across his face. Then shame replaced it. He stood. 2 HR officers walked beside him. Before leaving, he turned to Mrs. Evelyn. I am sorry. Mrs. Evelyn nodded. I hope you mean it. Then Mr. Dyke was gone. But Mrs. Evelyn was not finished. Mrs. Evelyn turned toward the office workers. Nobody knew what to expect. Some people looked scared. Some looked ashamed. Mrs. Evelyn walked slowly between the desks. Who saw what happened this morning? Almost every hand rose. Who saw what happened at lunch? Again, hands rose. Who thought Mr. Dyke was wrong? Hands stayed down. People looked at each other. Mrs. Evelyn waited. Slowly, BC raised her hand, then another worker, then another. Soon, most hands were up. Mrs. Evelyn nodded. Why did nobody speak? BC stood. Because we were afraid. Mrs. Evelyn looked at her. Afraid of what? Losing our jobs. Another worker spoke. He could make work very hard for people. Someone else said, he punished people he did not like. Mrs. Evelyn listened. She did not shout. She did not shame them. Then she said, fear can silence good people. She looked toward Amara. But if every good person stays silent, bad behavior becomes normal. BC lowered her head. I am sorry, Amara. Amara walked to her friend. You do not have to apologize. Yes, I do. BC began crying. You stood alone because the rest of us were scared. Amara hugged her. Mrs. Evelyn watched them quietly. Then she said, tomorrow, we begin fixing this. Tomorrow? Amara remembered something. She did not work there anymore. She slowly stepped back. Mrs. Evelyn noticed. What is wrong? Amara gave a small smile. Nothing. You are thinking about your job. Amara looked down. Yes. Mrs. Evelyn nodded. Good. Amara frowned. Good? Mrs. Evelyn asked Amara to follow her into the meeting room. The board members came too. Amara sat at the long table. She had cleaned that same table many times when helping after office events. Now senior leaders sat around her. She felt very small. Mrs. Evelyn still wore the cleaning uniform. That made everything feel even stranger. Amara, she said, what was your position? Customer support assistant. How long have you worked here? 2 years. What did you want to do before you took this job? Amara was surprised. I wanted to work in staff training. Why? I like helping people learn. Mrs. Evelyn nodded. Did you apply? Once. What happened? I did not get the role. Why? Amara hesitated. Mr. Dyke had told her she was too soft. She looked at the table. He said I did not have leadership strength. Mrs. Evelyn leaned forward. And today? Amara looked up. I am sorry? Do you think protecting someone, when you may lose something, takes strength? Amara did not know what to say. Mrs. Evelyn smiled. I do. Amara's heart started beating faster. Why was Mrs. Evelyn asking these questions? One board member pushed a folder across the table. Amara looked at it. Her name was printed on the front. What is this? Mrs. Evelyn answered. Your employee file. Amara's stomach tightened. Was there more bad news? Mrs. Evelyn opened the folder. Your customer rating is one of the highest on your floor. Amara blinked. Your co-workers often come to you for help. She turned a page. You trained 6 new workers, even though training was not your job. Amara nodded slowly. Mrs. Evelyn looked at her. Why? They needed help. Exactly. She closed the folder. Amara, I would like to offer you your job back. Amara let out the breath she had been holding. Thank you. Mrs. Evelyn raised a hand. I am not finished. Amara became still again. We are creating a new staff care and training team. She pointed at the folder. I want you to join it. Amara stared at her. Me? Yes. But I have never managed a team. You will not start as the head. Amara nodded quickly. Of course. You will be trained. Mrs. Evelyn smiled. And you will be paid more. Amara covered her mouth. She thought about her brother's school fees, her mother, the rent. Tears came again. Why are you doing this? Mrs. Evelyn's answer was simple. Because I saw who you were when you thought I had nothing to give you. Amara began crying, but this time she did not hide it. Mrs. Evelyn reached across the table and held her hand. There is one condition. Amara quickly wiped her face. What? Do not become like Mr. Dyke when you get power. Amara shook her head. I never will. Mrs. Evelyn smiled. Never say never. Amara looked confused. Mrs. Evelyn continued. Power changes people slowly. She tapped the table. One small choice at a time. She looked into Amara's eyes. So remember today. Amara nodded. I will. But Mrs. Evelyn had one more surprise. That evening, Amara called her mother. Mama, my daughter, why are you calling during work? Amara laughed through tears. I am not working right now. Her mother became worried. What happened? Amara sat outside the office building. The sun was low in the sky. Mrs. Evelyn had told her to go home and return the next morning. Amara began telling the story. The broken cup, Mr. Dyke, the insults, the firing. Her mother stayed quiet. Then Amara told her who Mrs. Evelyn really was. Her mother shouted so loudly, Amara moved the phone away from her ear. The owner? Yes, Mama. The owner of that huge company? Yes. And you shared rice with her? Amara started laughing. Yes. Her mother laughed too. Then she became quiet. My child. Yes. I am proud of you. Amara's eyes filled again. I thought you would be angry. Why? Because I risked my job. Her mother sighed. A job can return. She paused. But if you sell your heart because you are afraid, what will you use to buy it back? Amara became silent. Her mother had always spoken like that. Simple words, deep meaning. Then her mother asked one question. Did the old woman finish your rice? Amara laughed. Yes, Mama. Good. At least the owner of the company did not go hungry. Amara laughed until her stomach hurt. But the next morning brought another surprise. When Amara returned to work, the whole floor felt different. Nobody shouted. People smiled without fear. Mr. Dyke's office was empty. His name had been removed from the door. BC ran to hug Amara. You are back. I am back. And I heard about the new role. How? News travels faster than the lift, they laughed. Then Samuel came over. Amara, Madam Evelyn would like to see you. Amara followed him upstairs, not to the 12th floor, to the top floor. She had never been there before. The lift opened into a quiet office with large windows. Lagos stretched far below. Mrs. Evelyn was waiting, but she was no longer wearing the cleaning uniform. She wore a simple blue dress, no huge necklace, no heavy gold. Still, everyone around her treated her with respect. She smiled when she saw Amara. Good morning. Good morning, Ma. Sit. Amara sat. Mrs. Evelyn placed the old grey cleaning uniform on the table. I keep this for a reason. Amara touched the sleeve. Why? Mrs. Evelyn looked out the window. My mother was a cleaner. Amara's eyes widened. Mrs. Evelyn continued. She cleaned offices at night. When you were young? Yes. Mrs. Evelyn smiled sadly. I used to wait for her after school. She touched the old uniform. Sometimes people spoke to her as if she could not hear. Her voice grew softer. They left trash beside her feet while she was cleaning. Amara said nothing. They laughed when she asked them to move. Mrs. Evelyn looked at Amara. I never forgot. Then she said something Amara would remember for the rest of her life. People often show their true heart When they meet someone they think cannot help them. Amara nodded slowly. Mrs. Evelyn smiled. That is why I wear this. Amara looked at the uniform differently now. It was not a costume. It was a memory. But why had Mrs. Evelyn chosen their floor? Mrs. Evelyn opened a drawer. She took out several papers. I did not choose your floor by chance. Amara looked at her. We received complaints. About Mr. Dyke? Yes. Mrs. Evelyn sighed. But there were also complaints about the office culture. What does that mean? People were becoming cruel to those below them. Amara frowned. Below them, drivers, guards, cleaners, new workers. Mrs. Evelyn leaned back. Small bad habits become big bad habits when nobody stops them. She showed Amara a report. Amara saw words like disrespect, fear, shouting, and bullying. Her heart hurt. Mrs. Evelyn continued. So I came to see it myself. Did you know Mr. Dyke would behave that way? No. She smiled sadly. I hoped he would not. Amara thought about all the things that happened. Was the broken cup part of the test? Mrs. Evelyn laughed. No. So you really dropped it. I am old, Amara. They both laughed. But the dirty table, Mrs. Evelyn smiled. I may have missed one spot. Amara laughed again. Then Mrs. Evelyn became serious. What you did was not part of any plan. Amara nodded. That is why it mattered. The weeks that followed changed the whole office. New rules were made. Workers could report bad treatment without sharing their names. Managers had to take lessons about respect. Cleaning staff joined some office meetings to share problems. Drivers, guards, reception workers, and junior staff were asked what could make work better. At first, some managers did not like it. One senior man complained. Why should cleaners tell managers how to run an office? Mrs. Evelyn heard about it. The next week, she invited him to a meeting. She asked only one question. Can you work in an office that is never cleaned? The man said no. Then their work helps your work. He never complained again. Amara started her new training role. She was nervous. On her first day speaking in front of 20 workers, her hands shook. Bisi sat in the front row and smiled at her. Amara took a breath. Then she began. Good morning. Good morning. Everyone replied. Our lesson today is about respect. She paused, then smiled. And I know a story about that. But Amara still had one fear. 3 months later, Amara saw Mr. Dyke again. She was leaving the building after work. A man was standing across the road. At first, she did not know him. Then she looked again. It was Mr. Dyke. He wore a plain shirt, no expensive suit, no company badge. He saw her too. Amara stopped. For a moment, neither spoke. Then he crossed the road. Hello, Amara. Hello, sir. He gave a tired smile. I am not your sir anymore. Amara did not know what to say. Mr. Dyke looked at the building. I heard you got promoted. I joined the training team. Good. His voice sounded different, quiet. Amara asked, How are you? Mr. Dyke looked surprised. Why do you care? Amara shrugged. I asked. He looked away. I am trying to find another job. I hope you find one. He stared at her. You mean that? Yes. Mr. Dyke seemed confused. After what I did to you, Amara thought carefully. What you did was wrong. He nodded. I know, but I do not want bad things for you forever. Mr. Dyke looked at the ground. Then he whispered something Amara never expected. I am sorry. She watched his face. This time, there was no board member nearby, no owner, no audience, only them. I was angry all the time, he said. Why? He shook his head. I thought fear made people respect me. Amara said quietly, Fear and respect are not the same. I know that now. He looked toward the building once more. I learned it too late. Amara shook her head. You are still alive. He looked at her. So maybe it is not too late. Mr. Dyke stood silent for a long time. Then he nodded. Thank you. He walked away. Amara watched him until he disappeared into the crowd. She wondered if people could really change. 6 months later, Crown Meridian held a large company meeting. Workers came from many offices. Managers sat beside cleaners. Drivers sat beside directors. Mrs. Evelyn stood on the stage. Amara sat near the front. Mrs. Evelyn told the story of the day she became a cleaner. She did not use Mr. Dyke's name. She did not shame him. Instead, she spoke about choices. Every day, she said, we meet people who cannot give us a promotion. The room was quiet. People who cannot give us money. She looked around. People who cannot open doors for our careers. Then she smiled. How we treat those people tells the truth about us. Amara felt tears in her eyes. Mrs. Evelyn continued. Money can buy a large building. She pointed around. But money cannot buy a good heart. The workers clapped. Then Mrs. Evelyn called Amara to the stage. Amara froze. Bisi pushed her gently. Go. Amara walked up. Mrs. Evelyn handed her a small glass award. It read, For courage with kindness. Amara looked at it, then at Mrs. Evelyn. I do not deserve this. Mrs. Evelyn smiled. Why? I only did what I thought was right. Exactly. The room clapped again, but Amara had learned something more important than getting an award. Years passed. Amara grew in the company. First, she became a staff trainer, then a team leader. Later, she became head of worker support for several offices. She earned more money. She bought her mother a small house. Her brother finished school. Life became easier. But Amara kept one thing on her office wall. It was not her award. It was not a photo with Mrs. Evelyn. It was a small cleaning cloth in a frame. New workers often asked about it. Why do you have an old cloth on your wall? Amara would smile. Then she would tell them, It reminds me that titles can disappear. She would point toward the cloth. But how we treat people stays with us. Sometimes, young managers came to her office angry. They complained about workers. This cleaner is slow. This driver talks too much. This junior worker made a mistake. Amara always listened. Then she asked the same question. Would you speak about them that way if they owned this company? The managers often became quiet. Then Amara would ask one more thing. If your answer changes because of their title, then your respect was never real. The story slowly spread through Crown Meridian. Not the story of the billionaire who dressed as a cleaner. That was only the surprising part. The real story was about the young woman who had nothing to gain. Amara had believed she was throwing away her future when she placed her badge on Mr. Dyke's desk. She had been scared. She had cried. She had no secret plan. She did not know someone powerful was watching. That was what made her choice real. Many years later, Mrs. Evelyn grew weaker. She stopped traveling as much. One afternoon, she called Amara to her home. Amara arrived and found Mrs. Evelyn sitting in a garden. You wanted to see me? Yes. Mrs. Evelyn pointed to the chair beside her. Amara sat. For a while, they listened to birds. Then Mrs. Evelyn said, Do you remember that rice? Amara laughed. You still remember? It was too spicy. Amara stared at her. You told me you liked it. I was trying to be polite. They both laughed. Then Mrs. Evelyn became quiet. You know what I remember most about that day? What? You gave me half when you did not have much. Amara smiled. My mother taught me to share. Mrs. Evelyn nodded. Your mother gave you something money could never buy. She looked at Amara. A good heart. Amara took her hand. You changed my life. Mrs. Evelyn shook her head. No. Amara frowned. You did. I opened a door. She squeezed Amara's hand. You were already the person who could walk through it. Amara looked at the old woman beside her. The same woman people had ignored. The same woman Mr. Dyke had shamed. The same woman whose old uniform had hidden more power than anyone knew. And Amara finally understood something. Mrs. Evelyn's test had never really been about finding bad workers. It was about finding people who stayed kind when kindness seemed useless. Before Amara left, Mrs. Evelyn gave her a box. What is this? Open it at home. That evening, Amara opened the box. Inside was the old grey cleaning uniform, the one Mrs. Evelyn had worn that day. There was also a note. Amara unfolded it. The message was short. Never forget what people reveal when they think no important person is watching. Amara held the uniform against her chest. She cried. Not because she was sad, because she understood what Mrs. Evelyn was asking her to carry. Not the uniform, the lesson. Years later, when Amara became one of the senior leaders of Crown Meridian Group, she still remembered that morning. She remembered the broken cup, the dirty cloth, the shared rice, the shaking hands, the badge she placed on the desk, and the lift doors closing while she thought her life had fallen apart. Sometimes, the worst moment in your life is only a door. You may think everything is ending, but something better may be waiting on the other side. Still, Amara never taught people to be kind, because kindness might bring a reward. She taught the opposite. Do good, even when nobody will thank you, she told new workers. Show respect, even when the person cannot help you. Protect people, even when there is nothing in it for you. Because the cleaner may be a billionaire, or she may really be a cleaner. Either way, she deserves respect. A person's value does not come from money, clothes, job titles, or power. Treat people with kindness, because they are human, not because of what they can give you. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe. Where are you listening from
so
today?
You never miss
I
a
would
new
love
story.
to know. Until
Please
next
tell
time,
me in the comments.
goodbye.